How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Prab, and in today's video we're taking a look at the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 manual focus lens for full frame and APS-C Sony E-mount cameras. Now, if you're someone new here, I make videos about filmmaking and photography, and if you find this video helpful, definitely consider subscribing or hitting the like button. This helps the channel massively and it helps me make these videos, so thank you for that. Now, moving on to the lens itself, I tested this on my Sony a7 Mark III, and so far I have been pleasantly surprised by the results. Now, the great thing about this lens is that it costs just under $200 US, which in my opinion is a great price point for photographers that want to add an 85mm lens to their camera kit without spending a crazy amount of money. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how the lens actually performs and if it's any good at its current price point. But before starting, I do want to mention that this lens was provided to me by Viltrox for review purposes, but all the thoughts in this video are my personal opinion. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 comes nicely packaged in this white box, which includes a soft lens carrying pouch, the lens itself, and a plastic lens hood. My first impressions after holding the lens were that it felt solid in the hand, as it's mostly made of metal and glass. Now, because of such a construction, the lens is a little on the heavier side, coming in at about 665 grams. Overall, the lens feels really dense in the hand and has a fantastic build quality. However, I can't say the same thing for the plastic lens hood and the lens cap. The lens hood, although gets the job done, feels plasticky and flimsy, while the lens cap on the unit I received was a little loose. Moving on to the body of the lens, on the front it has a huge glass element and has a 72mm filter thread. On the actual body there is one manual focusing ring towards the center that has a focus throw of roughly 130 degrees, which is really nice to pull focus precisely. Also, this focus ring is well damped, has hard stops on both ends, and feels very smooth while using. On the rear of the lens there is a micro USB port to update the firmware, and there are electronic contacts for EXIF information and controlling the aperture of the lens. Now let's talk about how this lens actually performs. Well, I took this lens with me to India for a few weeks. I used it to take product shots, I took it to the beach with me, and after seeing all the shots, I was pleasantly surprised by the results. Now, since this is an 85mm lens, I mostly care about the center of the shot being in sharp focus, and that this lens delivers well. Even wide open at f1.8, the center of the frame is very sharp with a decent amount of contrast. Wide open at f1.8, there is a heavy vignette which pulls the attention of the viewer towards the center of the frame. The optics of this lens delivers images with beautiful background bokeh and have a really nice and accurate color rendition. The 9-bladed aperture of this lens also delivers images with circular bokeh balls even when the lens is stopped down. Talking about chromatic aberrations, the lens does show some purple and green fringing around contrasty edges. Now, what I would recommend doing is creating a custom lens profile for this 85mm in your editing software, so you can take care of the vignetting and chromatic aberrations easily and quickly every time you're in the editing process. Now, one thing that I did not enjoy as much about using this lens with my a7 Mark III was its weight. Now, this 85mm setup gets quite heavy to casually carry around with you, and during my visit to India, I was a little hesitant to carry this thing around with me because of that very reason. Now, this is a very personal thing to consider, and you might consider the weight of this lens to be just right, but this has been my experience so far. Other than that, I feel like this 85mm lens is definitely worth the price it's being offered at. It's greatly suited for photographers that want to do portrait photography and are okay with the manual focusing. And it's also great for video makers that want that 85mm compressed look with a beautiful background bokeh and want a smooth manual focusing ring. So this was my review of the Viltrox 85mm f1.8 manual focusing lens. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and you can hit the like button if you like this video. So thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.